Hold it there. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is your host. It is your boy, Dano in the building. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Let's go, man. Let's go. You already know there's nowhere else in the world that I would rather be right here than with the hashtag positivity posse. You already know how we coming tonight. We're coming strong. We're coming with a lot of energy. And you already know we got Wally Green. He's going to match the same energy. And if you didn't already know, Wally Green has come on the show before to share his experience about playing for Team USA in North Korea, and that episode was mega fire. So if you haven't gone seen that one, that's just kind of like the prelude to this one, because we're gonna be talking about his time in North Korea as well as other aspects and everything that Wally has going on for himself. Because I've been talking to Wally a lot recently, and man, just the experiences that he's had, it's just never a dull moment with everything that he's going on. So thank you everybody for being here. It's been an absolutely rainy day, but that is a-okay. And you already know, before we bring Wally on, we gotta hit you guys with the fire segment, with the street interviews that you guys always come for. I'm gonna give that to you guys most definitely. But first, I wanted to share with you one thing with you guys with the Positivity Posse. Positivity Posse in the house. Yes, thank you so much for being here. So I play in a basketball league, right? And it's kind of like a rec league where it's just me, a bunch of my boys. Just go. We all signed up. We decided to just play basketball for the season. This is actually our second season doing it. Last season it wasn't really my boys, it was just a bunch of randoms. But this season, yesterday we made it all the way, undefeated, and last night was the championship game, and we did not end up victorious. We did not win the chip, but surprisingly, when I'm saying that with a smile on my face. There's a lot of lessons that I learned in doing something that I really like to do. Like, if you guys don't already know, I love to play basketball, and I'm really, even though we lost and we got our defeat, I'm actually really happy with how everything turned out, and I'm able to live with how everything played out. I mean, yeah, we did play against the refs, but you know, when you go out there and you're living your life and you're doing everything that you can to the fullest to your degree and with all of your energy behind it, and you know, you're trying your best, there's nothing else that you can really, do. It didn't go the way that I wanted to, but that's all right. So that's one of the things that I've learned. If you guys have learned anything recently, just drop it in the comments. Let me know what's been going on in your life. And yeah, we have so much to talk about in such little time. I mean, we only get an hour with each other every week, but you know, like I said, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else than right here with you guys, with the positivity posse, man. Let's go. So I'm gonna play the clip for you guys. Here's the street interview that we did. I did it yesterday, and everybody was really nice. And I don't know if it was because of the warm weather. It was like 73 degrees, which is amazing, you know, especially coming off of winter time. Everybody was really nice. And once you guys hear the question, I want you to drop it in the comments below too, because I want to hear your answers. And there's one of the answers that was in here that was my absolute favorite. Let me know which one was your favorite as well, and I share with you my ideas and my opinions after we, after the clip gets done playing. So here goes the street interviews for you guys. Let's get it. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dano, television show host of Weekly Dose of Dano TV, and you already know what we're doing for today. We're going around the streets of Philly, asking everybody the questions that you need the answers to on this beautiful, sunny day. Let's get it. What's your name?
I'm Stasia.
Stasia, when you were growing up, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a lot of things. I wanted to be a physical therapist, a psychiatrist, a dance teacher, a swim coach, like all those things.
Awesome. Well, is there any common theme that you see in all of them that you wanted to become all of these people?
I just wanted to help others be happy and be their fullest self.
Okay. And then what inspires you to help others become happy?
I just think we're all busy and that we are focused on things that we have to do, like school, and there's just so much out there that the little things add up to all the good things.
Sir, what's your name?
My name's Joe.
Joe, when you were growing up, what did you want to be when you became older?
I wanted to be a teacher my whole life, teacher and coach. That's what I spent a lot of the early time in my career to do. And then I wanted to teach in college, which I did. And I wanted to write books, which this time in my life, I have the opportunity to do that. So everything worked out. And I'm fortunate enough to have had the opportunity to do it. Now, and a wife that supports doing it too.
That's amazing.
That's important too.
Now, here's the golden question: why did you want to become a teacher or a professor?
Make a difference in the lives of people. Which the feedback that I got through the years that continually motivated me to do that, to change the lives of people, get them to believe things that they normally didn't believe in, be an inspiration to them, and I've had enough feedback that kept me doing that for 55 years. I spent 55 years in the classroom.
So what's your name?
Anna Maria.
So Anna Maria, when you were growing up, what did you want to be?
I wanted to be a detective.
And why did you want to be a detective?
That just seemed like the coolest thing to me when I was a kid. My whole life, I just thought it would be so fun.
Besides it being cool, did you see CSI, or did that inspire you, or any family members?
It was just the only thing that intrigued me as a kid.
Yeah. Now, what's so intriguing about it?
Just solving things, I guess, always trying to figure something out.
Sir, what's your name?
Louis Del Mar.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a geologist, a scientist.
Okay, and why did you want to be a geologist?
Since 10 years old, I started collecting rocks and minerals in New York and the Bronx, where I was raised. Due to the stress from living in the city, I took a yoga class. Something happened inside. So eventually, I became a yoga teacher.
Did you feel that was your true calling, to become a yoga teacher?
Yep.
And what are some of the benefits, if there's somebody watching right now, what are some of the benefits that you can advocate for yoga?
We all live in our minds. When you do something that causes a relaxation response to occur in the nervous system, you shift things physically and mentally. So you get out of the chatter, that quiets down, and you begin to broaden something innate in all of us, another perspective inside. Yoga and integrative techniques tend to bring that innate, natural perspective out.
sir, what's your name?
My name is Chance.
Chance? Oh, I like that name. Great name. So Chance, when you grow up, what do you want to become?
I'd like to be a herpetologist.
Wow, a herpetologist. Chance, I have no idea what that is. You're going to have to explain that. What's a herpetologist?
A person who studies reptiles.
Oh, wow. And what makes you want to study reptiles?
Well, I like reptiles. Everybody's scared of reptiles, and I just thought it would be unique.
Chance, how old are you?
8 years old.
8 years old. Look at that. I didn't even know herpetologist was a word. So, Chance, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts today.
So that was the segment for the week, everybody. Let me know what you wanted to become when you wanted to grow up. I know for me, I wanted to be an oceanographer. There's a lot of mystery and a lot of things that lie inside the oceans in our world. And what do they say? That the world is actually 75% water, I think, or something like that. So there's so many things that we are yet to discover. And, I wanted to do it when I was growing up. But, things, other plans got in the way, or other ideas just felt like there was, more inspiring to me. I feel like the mysteries that you can find deep in the oceans, you can actually find it. Well, not literally find it, but all the mystery that's inside of the ocean, there's mystery on this planet too. So, on land and within people too. So I kind of want to dive into that and, extract that out of people. Here we go. David Vardaman. I'm so happy no one said getting rich, inspiring. Wealth to the soul is the greatest gift. Hashtag positivity posse. My man, that's what David always dropping the golden nuggets. All right, now it is time to bring my man Wally onto the show. And instead of doing the normal countdown that we always do, we're going to play a little clip that Wally decided to send. It's going to be kind of like his introduction video. It's about a minute long. So this is kind of like a recap, really short recap of part one for our episode. But, it's just a little introduction to who he is. So here it is. I hope you enjoy this clip. And Wally, after this clip is done playing, man, stop polishing your paddles and stop changing your rubbers, man. It's time to get on the show.
See that really cool black guy with the bleached out hair? Yep, that's me. I grew up in the projects of Brooklyn in a household of extreme domestic violence, which led me to gangs and guns at the early age of 13. My life was completely changed by the unlikely sport of ping pong, which took me all around the world playing for the U.S. team, even to North Korea, where I did my very own diplomacy for world peace.
I thought it would be a good opportunity to go to a totally different country, which is hostile to Americans, and then say, hey, look, I'm American. I play the same sport you play, and I'm a cool-ass motherfucker, and you gonna like me.
Yeah, there he is. What's going on, Wally?
What's up? What is good, man? How you doing, man?
Absolutely amazing. Wally, how are you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Always great to be back.
Oh yeah, thank you for coming back. And Wally, before we dive deep into it, I gotta ask you that question. What did you want to be when you were growing up? Did you always know you were gonna be a ping pong phenom?
Definitely not. When I was growing up, I don't know. I actually had no really aspirations. I grew up with gangs, guns, and violence, and that was all I knew. So maybe if you asked me what I wanted to be, is probably something, I don't know, maybe NBA player. That's pretty much what I knew when I was a kid.
Yeah. And that was one of the things too. I agree. I feel like growing up in the inner city, and especially as a minority, we kind of feel like the only way out is through sports. And
Right.
then, when the reality sets in that not everybody's destined to be an NBA star, for me it was NFL star, then it's like, okay, what do we do with ourselves?
Right.
Yeah, and then, actually for you, it's a perfect segue. Sports actually did end up saving your life and giving you everything that you have for today. And it actually gave you a glimpse into other parts in the world. And as we all know, North Korea.
Yeah.
So we have to talk about this story. It is like I said, I never had any intentions on going to North Korea just because I feel like you hear so many different things about it, mostly negative. But Wally, all right, you got to break it down for us, right? Let's just paint us a picture, right? Give us a description of you flying, getting onto the plane to go to North Korea, what your emotions were, how you were feeling, and when you touched down, what were some of the first things that you've seen?
Yeah, so when I first got on the plane, first I wanted to get the full feeling of what it was I wanted to get the full feeling of being in North Korea. So I decided that I would fly on a North Korean airline and not China, because two flights go there. One from China that's China owned, and one is North Korean owned. And I said, I want to get the full feeling of what it is to go to North Korea. So I took the North Korean airline called Air Korea or something like that. And I remember getting just first of all, it was really crazy because I didn't get a boarding pass. So I paid for my ticket, not to mention I paid in cash. And because that's what they were accepting. And they told me someone would come and get me and they'd bring me to my seat. So I was escorted to my seat, like right to my seat, escorted to my seat. I mean, the plane looked amazing. It had like these it had like these red leather seats, and it looked real nice. Like it looked good. It looked cool. And I noticed that of course there were no Westerners on that flight. It was all North Koreans and maybe a few Chinese.
Mhm.
And it was just very interesting because I noticed, like, always when I'm going somewhere, I'm always very I notice everything around me. I'm always aware of what's going on, who's around me, what they're wearing. And I noticed that everyone on the flight had this pin. So everyone on the flight had like a little pin. And I was wondering what that pin was. And I got close enough to like see it. And it was the picture of either the great leader, right, Kim Jong-un, or the grandfather, or all three of them on a pin. And I was like, whoa, that's super cool. And I actually asked the stewardess, hey, can I get one of those? And I didn't realize how serious of a thing I was asking for. So she just totally ignored me and gave me like the dirtiest look ever.
Huh.
But that was the first impression there.
Okay, and then it's funny that you see, okay, everybody's kind of like uniform, all having the pins, and it's a really nice plane. So I would think that you're feeling good, going over there, and everything's gonna be okay. All right,
Yeah.
so when you touch down, what are you seeing like when you're in the in flight, mid flight? What are you seeing outside? Like, what's the terrain like? And then when you touch down, I need you to say like, because do you
Yeah.
speak the language?
No, zero.
So you had an interpreter.
No. So anyone who's around you speaks English
Okay.
because they all work for the government.
Okay.
So when in the flight, I mean, it's a quick flight from China to North Korea. It's really fast. So I didn't really pay attention, and plus I didn't even sit by the window. I didn't have a window seat; I had an aisle seat.
Okay.
And they might have done that on purpose. I guess maybe they don't want you looking out the window.
Yeah.
So I remember we land, and then I come out. I get my stuff, and when I'm starting to come down the escalator, you see the sign, the normal signs you see in every country. Welcome to DPRK, Democratic People's Republic of Korea. And then as soon as I come down, someone comes up to me and says, "Oh, Wally, Mr. Green," and I'm like, "Yeah, hey, how are you?" And she's like, "Well, I'm your guide, and just follow me." So this person was like my sort of like a babysitter. They're responsible for you. You can't go anywhere, you can't leave anywhere, you can't do anything without this person. And this person works for the government, right? So their job is to keep tabs on you and to make sure you're not doing anything you're not supposed to be doing. So I was the first person I met, and yeah, so she comes up to me, and she was really good looking. And that was another thing that they probably do on purpose, because if you're a guy, you go to another country and the first thing you see is a hot girl, now you're more comfortable to telling her things that she wants to know when they're asking you these questions that they ask you.
Yeah.
Right. So everything is done on purpose. Nothing is, it wasn't like I got lucky and I got the hot one. No, it was give him the hot one because we've seen his social media. We know what he likes, and we know he'll feel comfortable around her. So that's what that was more about.
Yeah, definitely. Now, all right, now we got to get into the meat and the potatoes, right? All right, so let's say you get to your room, everything's going great. What is, excuse my language, but what's your first, oh shit, I'm in North Korea moment? When did it really hit you?
Oh, so we get to the hotel. As soon as we get to the hotel, so it's me, it's her, it's a driver, and another dude that's in the car, right? And me, just me. So we drive to the hotel, we pull up to the hotel, and the outside of the hotel looks amazing. The outside's amazing. You go inside, super amazing, high ceilings, everything looks so beautiful. Wow. And I was like, whoa, man, this is amazing. Wow, this is great, because they charge us a lot of money, per night to stay there. Like 400, I think I remember 400. And I was like, whoa, this is great, man. For a third world country, this is living large. And then I check into the hotel, and then they said, oh, can we have your passport? So I give them the passport, and then they wouldn't give it back to me. Yeah, so they wouldn't give me my passport. And I was like, can I get my passport? And they said, no, we hold on to the passport until you go back to your country. Until you go back to China. Because I was coming from China. And I was like, what? And they said, yeah. And then, at the same time, as a Westerner, I'm not allowed to have any Wi-Fi and no cell phone service. So I have no cell phone service. I have no Wi-Fi, right? And now I have no passport.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm completely cut off from the rest of the world. So it didn't really bother me because I really knew already about I knew what I was getting into. I did a lot of research. So I knew about the Wi-Fi. I knew about the no cell phone service. I did not know about them taking my passport. Right. So that's what made it a little bit scary. And that's what makes it dangerous when you don't have a passport and you can't get out. If you need to get out, that means you're in jail. You're pretty much. Yeah. So anyway, I go up to my room and I'm thinking it's going to be like luxury. Let me tell you, man, I got videos of this too. The room looked like a room in a youth hostel. It was horrible, bro. The bed was hard. It was I have a video of me talking about it. I should have found it, but I have a video for the documentary of me actually talking about the room. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like the room looked nothing like what you saw from the outside.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can imagine you probably felt like you've been lied to or like treated a certain way. And then do you think that you were probably the only African American black dude there?
Yeah.
Did that also play a role into everything as well, you think?
No, I think just because I'm a Westerner, period. Like Westerner, it doesn't matter what country you're from. If you're a Western country, you have no rights in North Korea. It's a fact. Once you step foot in that country as a Westerner, the only people who have rights in North Korea are Chinese citizens, because Chinese and North Korea, they have a pact together, right? So Chinese citizens, like one time I was in the hotel and I had went down to they had like this kind of like place where there was like a pool table. It wasn't really nothing going on. But there was a Chinese dude there, and the Chinese dude actually spoke to me because I don't speak Chinese, but I could tell what he was talking about. So he saw me and he saw my hair. And if people remember me, they remember me by my hair. And I've done a lot of media in China, playing, on the Pro Tour, being on a lot of TV stations in China. And so he recognized me from my hair. And he was trying to tell me he recognized me because he's pointing to my hair. Right. And then he went like this, which I knew was ping pong. So I figured maybe from ping pong. And this dude was on his phone, like, texting and everything the whole time. So like, Chinese citizens can have all those things that Westerners can't have.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like, when I feel like even though you have other people around you and you're in that spot, I feel like you're still isolated because you can't reach out to anybody just in case anything were to happen.
Wait. There's no other people around you.
No other people.
No, I went by myself, so I was alone. So first of all, there were no Westerners. There was not one Western country
Hmm.
at this competition, right? So you have countries like Russia, of course,
Hmm.
China, Vietnam, Syria. Syria, like so you have all these kind of communist countries.
Hmm.
There was no Western countries. There's no America or Canada or Japan or Korea or Brazil or Germany. No, it was only me. So
Wow.
it was me surrounded by all North Koreans.
And that's what I mean too. I feel like that's a scary feeling because, I feel like even when you're in the US and you live in some of the most serious parts of the US,
Yeah.
you still got your phone, you got other people you can reach out to, but over there it's just complete isolation. Now, in the video clip, you just showed everybody that, as part of your diplomacy, after the match ended with the North Korean man, you went over to the other side of the table, you met halfway and you gave him a hug. What is so significant about that hug, and why do you think a hug was the perfect way to represent yourself and the US?
Because in North Korea, people are taught to hate the Western world, and they're taught that we're evil, we're the devil, we should be hated, we should be killed, and stuff like that. And I remember when I went to North Korea, I didn't have a plan. I knew I wanted to do a diplomacy for world peace, but I had no plan. Like how I had no plan. But the first step to anything is to actually take action. Like you gotta get there first, right? And then maybe the plan. I'm a really strong believer in manifestation, and if I really want something bad enough, and I truly believe in it, it will manifest itself somewhere or another. Don't know how, but it will happen. So I'm a strong believer of that. So I remember when I was coming out. So lucky for me, I got to play against a North Korean.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been worse. I could have played against a North Korean. I could have played against Chinese and Vietnamese. Then my whole trip there would have just been me saying, "Yeah, I went to North Korea," and nothing would have happened. But I got to play against a North Korean, and I remember as we were walking out to the table to play, you have your umpire, you have your North Korean, you have me. I mean, your other umpire, and then me, and we're all walking out, right? So we're all kind of walking out to the table, and I look up and I see a crowd of like at least 5,000 people, man. And you gotta remember, everyone there is what? North Korean. There are no Westerners there, so it's all North Korean people watching what's going on in this competition. And I look up, and as I look up, you could feel the evil. Like you could feel the hate. You could feel just the negativity. Like you can feel it on your body. It's definitely one of the most intense feelings I've ever had in my life. And I've been through some stuff. I have guns put to my head, all kinds of stuff. But this was very different. This was I can't even think of the word, man, but this was just really deep, really deep. And all these people just looking at you with hate and disgust and oh, it's America, So we walk out, and I'm feeling this. I'm looking up, and I see everyone looking at me, everyone, and I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. So I walk out, and then we start playing the match. And as we, once I start to play, I'm in focus mode, right? So then we start playing the match. So as we start playing the match, boom, 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 boom. I get the first point, and as I make a first point, I hear this sound going, like a sound of hate, a sound of disgust. A sound of why is he even making 1 point against our guy? Like this was vocal, like you could hear it. Now picture you got 5,000 people making the same sound. It's crazy. It's like
amplified, yeah.
Right. And yeah, man. And everyone started making this sound, and I was like, oh god, this is nuts. But then the guy started playing well, and he started making some points. And every time he made a point, they would clap. Everyone would clap. And if you ever watch the videos of like North Koreans clapping, it's usually in unison. But this is real, man. Everyone starts clapping at the same time. Then it got louder and louder and louder. And I was like, this is nuts. I felt like I was in the finals of the Olympics, man.
Mhm.
And that I was the favorite and he was
Mhm.
the underdog, right? And it was crazy. And then I was like, man, I was getting a little upset, a little angry, and I didn't know what to do. And I was just like, what the hell's going on? And then I just look up and I start to smile. Right. So I start smiling. I look up and I just smile at the crowd because I remembered my purpose. You know, the purpose was to do diplomacy for world peace.
Mhm.
Right. And by me being angry and maybe flipping them the bird, that wasn't that wasn't peaceful. Right.
Yeah.
So I just looked up and I just like gave this big smile and I went like this. And people started laughing. Like some people started smiling. And I was like, okay, that's weird. So play again. He went a point. They clap real loud. And I look up and smile again. And then more people started smiling to the point where everyone started smiling and laughing at the same time. So every time I looked up, they would laugh and smile. And I said, oh man, you know what? This is where it's going to happen. This is the sign of how I'm going to do this diplomacy for world peace. This is how I'm going to make a difference. It's happening right here because now I have about 5,000 people who were taught to hate me, right? And taught that I'm evil and I'm the devil, laughing with me and smiling with me,
Mhm.
right? That's something that you can't fake that, right?
Mhm.
So they start doing that. I was like, oh, this is cool. So then I said, forget about the match. I'm not trying to win the match anymore. I want to focus on what's going on, what's going on right now. So then we play, you know,
Wait,
boom, boom, boom.
so when you say focus on what's going on right now, do you
Yeah.
mean the interaction with the crowd or just how you're feeling and what your plan is?
No. Interaction with the crowd because I still didn't have a plan yet.
Mhm.
The plan didn't come until the very last minute. Like I said, I really believe in manifestation.
Mhm.
Things will come if you believe it.
Mhm.
And so there was no plan yet. I just knew that I had all these people smiling, and every time I laughed, they would laugh. And then when I would make a point, that sound wasn't so bad anymore.
Mhm.
It kind of like calmed down, right? So then, like I said, I was focusing more on the crowd. I didn't care about the match anymore. I didn't care about winning. I didn't go there to win. I went there to make a diplomacy for peace, right? So after that, the North Korean guy, like you saw in the video, the North Korean guy wins the match, and he comes to shake my hand. And shaking hands is sport etiquette. Like you have to do it. You cannot not do it. It's a must, right? You can hate someone, but you have to shake their hand, even if it's just a touch. So that's what he came to do. He came to give me a touch. So he came, he kind of put his body out as you saw, and put his hand, reached out to me instead of bringing his body close to do a real handshake. And when he did that, I just grabbed him by the arm and pulled him in and gave him the biggest bear hug ever. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that was great about that, like, my camera is facing my back, which is his front. His face at first was like,
Yeah,
but
surprise.
right after that, a smile came. A
Mhm.
smile came. You can't fake that. You can't make that up. He didn't plan to smile, right? But he smiled, right? So what that means is that, we as individuals or as a group, we can't make people change overnight. No one changes overnight. That's not how it works. But what we can do, we can plant the seed for change, right? So we plant that seed, and the seed that I planted in him was showing him love and respect, right? Love and respect. Even though you hate me, even though your country hates me, even though I'm the devil to you, I'm still showing you love and respect. So that's the seed that I planted, right? And all those 5,000 people who saw it, including him, is never ever going to forget that day. They will never forget it because it's never happened before. So they're never going to forget that day. So whenever governments start talking and they say, yeah, Americans are this, or Westerners are this or that, somebody is going to say, well, you know what? I remember that guy that came from America who showed our guy nothing but love, right? So I planted the seed for that. And it was definitely one of the most amazing moments in my life, I could say.
Yeah, and there's two things about that story that really stick out to me. Number one is that you have this in the beginning of the story, you just said that, man, that was one of the most intense feelings and one of the most hateful feelings that I've ever had. And by the end of the experience, you were like, wow, that was the best experience that I've
Yes.
ever had, or one of them. And it just goes to show that you really are the creator. And like you said, the manifester of your own reality. You said
Yeah.
to yourself, hey, man, listen, yo, I'm going to have a great experience. I'm going to achieve a goal. And even through the midst of all that hate and all that negative feelings, you were able to transform that into your favor and to achieve the thing that you wanted to do. And that's one of the things that I feel like a lot of people now, if you're able to go fly halfway across the world, or really across the world, to go accomplish anything that you want to do, I feel like the people that are watching here, especially inside of the United States, they can do that on a day-to-day basis, and they don't have to wait 10 years. They don't have to wait 20 years down the line. You can do that right now.
Yes.
And you are a prime example of that. Now, Wally, when it comes to you got to talk about the contrast here. Is there, being in that North Korea, right? Everything that happened to you, all the interactions, all the great times that you've had, all the beautiful things that you've seen, all the not so beautiful things that you've seen. When you came back to the US, was there a greater appreciation for being here, and a greater appreciation for your own life?
Yeah. Definitely for sure. I'm not only just from North Korea, but many of the countries that I travel to. When you come back, you appreciate more. They always say, you appreciate more of what you have, and just to be there and experience what real brainwashing is, like real, like experience someone, because you remember I'm talking to my guide a lot, and experience someone who is really completely truly brainwashed. Not many people can say they've met someone like that. We've met a lot of ignorant people in our life, but have you met someone really truly brainwashed? Probably not. And
No.
and it's definitely, you get back here and you're like, wow, that's crazy.
Now let's talk about the. All right, so there's two things that I want to say. Number one, I remember the second thing that I wanted to say, and is when you went over there and you did your diplomacy, right? You affected one of somebody that I bet is a celebrity over there, so that when people do see that, it trickles down. And when
Yeah.
those 5,000 people that were inside of that, audience that was watching you play live, they went back home. They spread that even further. They said, "Yo, guess what happened at the end of the match? Actually, Wally Green came and he gave the American, the Westerner, gave our guy a hug. Can you believe that?" And they were like, "Oh, I wish I would have seen that." So it was good that you had that celebrity status over there and you affected that celebrity, because it's going to be a widespread, representation of us. And here it
Right.
is right here. You were a representation of what a true kind American is. And I want to talk a little bit about that brainwashing. So, what really is brainwashing? Is it just to say, oh, like, is it on a minor scale or is it on a major scale? And
It's
what
it.
makes you believe it was a major scale?
So it's on a major scale. On North Korea is closed off to the world, as I was closed. As you can see, I was closed off to the world. Like, I couldn't contact anyone. I couldn't. I had no cell phone service. I had no Wi-Fi. I had nothing. So I was completely closed off. And people who live there are closed off all the time. It's not like people have internet and they go, on Google, or they're on TikTok. No, they're on nothing. And whatever they see is whatever the government wants them to see. Literally, that's all they see. It's just that. And I had a conversation, and this is, and I could have gotten into a lot of trouble. Like, but you know me, I like a little bit of danger. I need. It's not a successful trip if there wasn't just a little bit of danger.
Yeah.
So they have been asking me all these questions about, what do you think about our great leader? Trick question. What do you think about our great country? Trick question. You got to be careful what you ask, because you will be arrested. So I felt like now I could ask them some questions. So my first question I asked my guy, we were sitting down in the hotel, and I said, "Hey, let me ask you a question." I says, "You guys like me a lot," which I don't even know if that's true, but I say that as a way to not make her think that I'm trying to say any bad things or trying to start anything. I want to diffuse the situation before it even happens by saying that you like me. I don't know if they like me, but I said, you know, you guys really like me a lot. But why do you guys hate Westerners so much? Right? So she goes, well, we don't hate Westerners. We just don't want the Western influence in our culture. We want the pure Korean culture. We don't want any Western influence. And I said, okay, you know, I understand sometimes us Westerners mess things up, you know, because you have to agree with them. That way you don't start, you know, something I can continue my conversation. And I said, yeah, I understand that. But do you know that every country in the world needs influence from other countries in the world in order to be a great country? And she goes, that's not true. And I go, okay. I say, yeah, it's true. She goes, no, it's not true. I says, listen, it's a fact. And she says, no, everything in our great country was done by our great leader through our great country. And I was like, well, do you know that your great leader does have Western influence, right? And this is dangerous. Now, this is like the yellowish red zone. I'm in a yellow red zone now.
Now let me ask you quick, or let me just make a quick statement. So you're all the way in North Korea. You don't have your phone. You're the only person there, and so none of that is dangerous for you. But now you're talking about danger when it comes to asking a question.
Yes,
danger when it comes to just verbal.
Yes, extremely dangerous. So I say, you do know that your great leader has Western influence. She goes, that's not true. He has no West influence. Everything is done through. So they don't like to be called North Korea. They want to be called DPRK, right? They don't believe there's two Koreas. They believe there's one. So they want to be called DPRK, which is Democratic People's Republic of Korea. So she says, everything he's done is through DPRK, by DPRK, no Western influence, right? And I says, okay, what about basketball? That's basketball. And she said to me, she goes, oh, basketball was created by a great leader. Now, listen, if there was any common sense, you don't have to be smart. You could be the dumbest person in the world. But if you had just a little bit of common sense, your great leader is 28. When did he decide to create basketball? Like, I didn't say that because I wouldn't be here talking to you right now.
Yeah.
So, but just common sense. But I didn't want to argue that. So I went onto something even more because I was pushing. I was seeing how far I can push. You know, so then I was like, that's not true, but okay. I said, one more thing. Do you know that your great leader studied outside of North Korea? Now I'm pushing. Now I'm in a red zone. I'm in all red right now. Do you know that your great leader studied?
Too, right? All
yeah,
red,
yeah.
Like, yeah.
My brain's moving fast. I'm trying to push, but be careful. And I said, do you know that your great leader studied outside of North Korea? She goes, no, that's not true. He only studied here. Everything he said, that's not true. I say he did. He studied outside of America, outside of North Korea. No, it's not true. I say it's very true. I said he studied in Switzerland. Everyone knows this. It's a fact. That's why he speaks English very well. And she goes, no, that is not true. And I said, oh my God, you know what? You're so right. I'm so stupid. It was the Cuban president. I don't know anything about the Cuban president, bro. I was about to get myself 15 years in a hard labor camp. Yeah, that's what was about to go down right there. And that's why, like I said, I'm really smart. And this is something that the streets teach you that you don't learn on your own. How to get out of dangerous situations quickly and think fast. Because I saw where her tone was going, and I immediately removed myself from that by saying, oh man, I'm so stupid. It's the Cuban president. I got the wrong president.
So then what was her reaction? Did she actually believe?
Yeah, of course she did. Yeah,
I guess you had to put on the Lifetime.
Listen, I should have won an Oscar for that, bro.
Yeah.
It was perfect. And it was so natural because that's how my brain works. My brain works really fast. I'm really quick. And I saw where it was going. But, you know, that's corrupting the minds of citizens. Punishable by 15 years hard labor.
Yeah, they're wilding for that.
Yeah,
but, you know, We just got to take a quick commercial break, Wally. I don't want to cut you off, but we got to get a word from our sponsors, for the people that sponsor the show. And when we come back, we're going to talk about more about this great, juicy content that you like to push the envelope, man. You got a pair
Yeah,
of
a little bit.
All right, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you from our sponsors. That was just a quick word from our sponsors. And we actually have a member of the Positivity Posse. They have a question, and it's a really great question. That's why I want to feature it. Now, there's a lot of people that go about their lives and they say that they want to do certain things, and they talk about the motivation that inspires them to do anything that they do. Now, you going all the way to North Korea to really impact the world and change their culture over there. Here's the wrong one. Here's the question. What was the inspiration that drove you to do this?
Oh man, so it's a great question. In 1971 is a little bit of American history. America's established relations with China at a time where China was extremely communist. And if you were Chinese, you could be arrested just for even associating with a Westerner. And America established relations with China is through ping pong. So it's called the ping pong diplomacy. At the time, the president was President Richard Nixon. And so that's a big historical moment in American history where sport was used to make diplomacy. So I was like, I'm a big staple in my sport, and I want to also use my sport to make diplomacy and to make peace. So that was the biggest thing that made me want to go to North Korea.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like there's people that say, "Oh, well, I want to do something, some small things," but this is once in a lifetime opportunity. Now, Wally, when you have all of these people that are against you, right? And you're in the crowd and some things weren't going your way, and then that's when you decided to smile and look up at the sky. What was your inspiration to do that? Is that something that came from within you, or did something grab your attention to look up? Or you got to talk a little bit more about that moment.
Yeah, so I was feeling really overwhelmed because I've never been in a situation where people were totally against me. Normally people are for me because I'm usually the underdog. And I've never been in a situation where I just felt like, man, this is crazy. Like everyone here hates me. So when they were making all the noise, my normal self would have probably been angry. I would have got angry for sure. I would have got angry. I'd have probably yelled out to people, or I don't know, maybe threw my racket up in the air at someone. I don't know. But I had those emotions. Those were the first emotions I had were angry emotions. Like, what the F, man? Like, shut the F up. Like, yo, I can't concentrate. But then something just clicked to me and says, hey, remember why you're here. And then once I heard that, remember why you're here, I was like, oh man, what am I doing? all right, just I didn't even know. I just looked up, and instead of being angry, a smile came out. It was funny. It was weird. It surprised me too. I looked up and a smile came out. I just started laughing, like smiling, and yeah, it just happened.
Yeah, and I feel like when you're talking about the manifestation, right? And you know who you are as a person, and
Yeah.
everything that you've gone through has led you to that moment. You saw. I'm pretty sure when you were doing, the initial reactions, and that's kind of like your ego.
Right,
When you're feeding into that, you're like, wow, well, none of this is working, and it's only
right,
getting
right,
worse
right.
and worse. And then when you decided to say, you know what? When you just decide to be your normal self, and you put all that stuff to the side, that's when the great things happen. And that's exactly how you got to that point. Now when it comes to the everything coming against you, right? Let's say that there's somebody watching this right now that they feel the same way that you felt in that moment. Everything is going against them, nothing is going their way. They think that people are trying to set them up for failure. What advice would you have to give to these people?
Oh man, you have to believe in yourself. Like you really, you have to believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself and you truly know what you're capable of, and you really believe it, none of those things can bother you. Like none of those things bother me ever, because I believe 100% in myself. I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I'm not capable of. So I think most importantly is believing in yourself, but truly believing in yourself,
Mhm.
right? And that takes a lot. One of the biggest things is being willing to take a chance and make those mistakes, right? Because if you don't take chances, then you're not believing in yourself, right? You're kind of hiding behind the facade, as they say. You're not really believing in yourself. So, by going out, taking chances, ideas, go with them, just truly believe in yourself, then nothing can affect you ever.
Yeah, and here we go. Wally, thank you for representing the United States, a true icon. And let me tell you guys, this is just barely scratching the surface of everything that Wally has going on. Wally, you'll also have a TED Talk coming up as well. Would you be able to talk a little bit about the TED Talk and
Yes.
how you're speaking to children specifically?
Yes. So it's a TEDx talk, and normally I don't like those kind of talks, because I just don't like giving lectures. I like conversations like this. This I love. I love back and forth conversating. But then I got an email saying if I would be interested in doing a TEDx youth
Mhm.
talk, and I was like, TEDx youth, youth. That sounds good. Like anything for kids, I'm down for. And I was like, so I say, yeah, give me some more information. And they said that the talks are geared towards the youth, towards kids. And I was like, 100%, I'm down. I'm down. And we just did a rehearsal 2 days ago, which was incredible. It was like me, the organizers, and a whole bunch of kids on Zoom.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it was really cool. It was just a really cool thing to talk to the kids and then get their feedback
Mhm.
on my talk. And that was really cool too. Like, and they loved it. So I was really happy.
So, what are some of the intentions that you hope to do once you perform this TEDx talk?
Man, the whole point is it for to touch people, and have these kids understand that there's a lot to life, man, and don't give up. It's all about being strong, and just going for your dreams, and not letting anyone shoot your dreams down, and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. It's going to be talking about, of course, the North Korea story a little bit, about my life story, right? And it's going to be great. I even have a great way to end it. I have a great, and listen, I heard something on, I'll be doing a TikTok, and I heard something on TikTok. Was it TikTok or Instagram the other day? And I just loved it. I loved it so much that I'm going to use it as the ending of my talk.
Mhm.
Do you want to hear what it is?
Yeah, get everybody the
Listen,
secret sauce. You gotta give us. You
listen,
gotta give us.
whoever created this, I don't know who did it, but whoever created is a genius.
Mhm.
And it goes like this. It says, bees don't waste their time explaining to flies why honey is better than shit. So
Yeah.
remember that the next time someone comes and tries to destroy your dreams. Man, listen, that's the ending of my TED Talk, bro.
Yeah.
Exactly like that.
And that's amazing because, you know, like, but you better hope that you change that verbiage a little bit. You know what I mean? You don't want to get kicked off stage.
Now I'm
right?
going exactly the way it is, bro. You know, I did some research and I asked a lot of speakers, and they say, yeah, you can say the exact way it is. And I was like,
Okay, nice.
I love it. Listen, I love it. Whoever created that is a genius, because it's part of what we're talking about, right? There's so many people that's going to try to take you down. There's so many people that's going to want to destroy your dreams, right? But you're a bee, and you don't need to explain why honey is better.
Yeah,
you don't need to do it.
Straight up.
So I love it, bro. I love it. Yeah.
And thank you so much for sharing that too, because you know that 100%. I agree with that. You know, and I want to share with you one thing, Wally, and maybe you could take this going forward too, and anybody else watching this, you can take this forward. So right now, and it goes off of David's point, Wally gave insight on the individual effort towards self-improvement and global understanding. And you know what? Michael Jackson said this, and I don't know if he was the creator for it, but he says you got to look at the man in the mirror, right? In order to change the world, in order for you to go over there, you had to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, well, how can I improve with my social skills? How can I improve with the person that I am and being comfortable in my own skin? How can I improve on my physical skills with the ping pong?
Right.
All of that stuff was leading to changing the world because you decided to look in the mirror. You were man enough to say, listen, you know, I got some flaws. I'm not the most perfect human being in the world, but I know that if I work on it, then I can change the world. So that's gonna be my advice for you guys. Now, yeah, I called Dominique Michael Jackson. That's why she's laughing. But now, take that going forward, man. Wally, thank you so much for being here today. And you're gonna be at the Power of We, so I will see you there. And
yes.
if you didn't know, Wally also is part owner of Spin clubs, and they're all around the world. So if you ever go see a spin, go in there. Maybe Wally might be there, and you might get lucky. So Wally, thank you so much, man.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, it's been amazing. So I'll see you guys next week for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV, where we have Vaughn coming onto the show, and he's going to be talking. He thinks differently from a lot of people, and he's not afraid to share his opinion as well. So he's going to come on and talk about what it's like to think differently, and especially being an African American man when the community and the minorities want you to think a certain way, and how he just is unapologetically himself. So Wally, thank you so much for being here, man. I'll see you soon, and I know you're going to go crush it on that Tech Talk, man. So I'll see everybody next week for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Peace.
Peace.